My friend's girlfriend hit him. They've been dating for a year, got in a fight and she punched him twice in the eye aiming to hurt him. As soon as she punched him he walked away in shock and she started having a panic attack. I think it was fake. They made up the next day, but I really can't stand the fact that this happened and my friend doesn't realize how serious this is. What should I do? I don't personally know his GF. Tell him that if he stays with her, this will get worse. Do not take this lightly. My grandmother's nephew was stabbed to death by his girlfriend. It started with slapping. He was in his early 20s. Your friend is in an abusive relationship. His life could be in danger. Have a private conversation with him, in person. Tell him this will only get worse. If he needs help leaving the relationship and you are willing and able to offer it, do so. Has she isolated him from his family? Friends? Does he feel at fault, at all, for her assaulting him? Even if she hasn't, it is very serious, and since she did it and was able to get away with it, she'll do it again. That panic attack was manipulation. It worked. So now, the next time she physically attacks him, she will up that crazy reaction because now, it isn't the first time. I'd have a serious talk with him, about how he feels. There's so many real videos online about this kind of thing. A year is a long time to dig in some claws. He's not going to leave until he's ready. I have a friend who was seriously attacked by his girlfriend. He was afraid to defend himself because in a mutual combat situation, the man will be arrested here. He curled himself into a ball and waited for the neighbors to call the police. His bathroom was a bloody mess while she cooled her heels in the county jail. He didn't leave her for several months after this. Essentially, your friend will stay until he hits his breaking point or she kills him. All you can do is let him know that you'll support him and help him whenever he's ready for it. Twice. In the eye? With clear intent to hurt him? My mama said if she's man enough to hit you, then she's man enough to get hit back. So I'll say your friend probably did what he felt was best, but she would have been knocked between the couch cushions. But to get back together with her is fucking idiotic and you should at least tell him that. And I'm betting this isn't the first time she's put hands on him. Get him away from her, and tell his parents. If he gets mad at you, so what, you'll be saving him from being a goddamn doormat all of his life. Check it at Ebby45. She's a crisis counselor and has posted some really good info. Good luck. Ask him if he would tolerate his girlfriend hitting his mom or anyone else that he cares about. If he would not tolerate her punching someone that he loves, why should he tolerate her punching him? I'm sure there are lots of people that will hear about him getting hurt and not want anything to do with this girl. I think you should really have a serious talk with him about his self-worth and how he is being treated because he does not deserve to be abused like that. You never put your hands on your partner like that. I think that girl needs to see a therapist for how to process that outlash. If she cares about being a good person, she will do that. Boyfriend can set that as an ultimatum. Boyfriend can also end it on that note. My boyfriend raped me this morning. I had a baby 3 weeks ago. I spent most of the night, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., awake with the baby. It was a bad night for me as I didn't sleep much and my mood has been very low recently. We argued this morning because we were both tired. Then I turned over and tried to get some sleep while the baby had gone back to sleep. Then he started having sex with me. I didn't stop him but we're meant to wait 6 weeks anyway, he knew that. I cried so hard during it that the whole bed shook and then after I just cried ever harder and he stroked my hair. I just want to KMS. Edit. Thank you for all of your kind words and advice. I can't comment and reply to all of them. I have a toddler and a newborn to look after and am sorting out trying to get a lift to somewhere safe. From a new mum myself, please go to the hospital and get checked. The nurses and midwives will 100% support you if you tell them everything. I waited until 8 weeks to have sex again and I got a nasty infection so I can only imagine what's brewing. I'm sure you remember when you had your first antenatal appointment that they asked if you're being abused. That's because they have resources to help you and it's not too late. I beg you to back up some clothes for you and your baby and whatever else you need and head to the hospital. And call someone you trust in your family so you have somewhere to stay. My DMs are always open if you need. Do this for your baby if not for yourself. Take your child to a friend's house or your parents. Call the police. Get a rape kit done. Get away from him. I am so sorry this happened to you. You definitely need to get checked out by a doctor. The reason for refraining from sex is for your safety. You are at a very high risk for infection right now. Please take your baby and go to your doctor. He doesn't respect you, like at all, that's obvious. Also file and report towards him because raping someone is always illegal. It was obvious if you were crying heavily that you weren't into it, he should have at least stopped. Also, I doubt he will get better, most people won't. Report him and take your baby far away. You may love him, but he just showed you the tip of what he's capable of. Please report it and get yourself checked and a therapist if you can. My partner raped me plenty after our youngest child and a C-section. It was traumatic. Get away from it because it'll likely get worse. You're in a prime vulnerable position now to be abused. Get help from family if you can. Take care of yourself and the baby especially, as this could contribute to any postpartum depression or anything. I ended up with psychosis symptoms. There is no excuse for this. Do not let him tell you or convince you that this was anything but rape. Not to mention rape of a woman 3 weeks postpartum, so he also doubly didn't give a fuck about your physical health. Take your baby, and get the fuck away from this horrible, toxic, terrifying, abusive human being. You will forever and ever regret not getting a rape kit done and filing a police report. He is a danger to you and your baby. Rape kits can be violating but nowhere near as dehumanizing as no one believing you. You are so strong and so powerful, no matter how weak he made you feel. This will be important for co-parenting. Please, for the sake of the rest of your life, please go to the hospital. My mother said something to me about my abuse and I don't think I can forgive her. I, F 26, was assaulted and abused at the age of 6. The home I was in was always in shambles and eventually I was taken away from there and adopted. My mom and dad brought me up in a typical middle-class house and provided me with everything. When I turned 18 I decided to become a model and I did just that. The pay is amazing, I get to travel, and my hours, though long, are manageable. I absolutely love my job. My mom, however, has never approved of me being a model. In her eyes I was supposed to grow up to be something great, like a doctor or a lawyer. She constantly throws it in my face that she didn't adopt me so I could throw my life away for the fast and easy life. I've never let it bother me too much because I assume she was just worried about me. A couple weeks ago me and my fiancé, M28, went to have dinner with my mom and dad and everything was going great. My dad then brought up how my work was going and I told them of my recent shoot and travels. When I was done my mom just glared at me. Like a hate-filled glare I had never seen before. I finally told her if she had something to say then to say it and the following words came out of her mouth. I don't understand, Corey, you were a straight A student. You were raised right and you do this. God, maybe we should have left you in that dump we found you in and found someone with common sense. Better yet, maybe one of your little photographers should do you in and maybe then you'll come to your senses. At that point she had been yelling and when she was finished everything was silent. For a few moments it didn't even feel like I was looking at my mother. Before I could even react my fiancé got up and started cursing at my mom and my dad was trying to defuse the situation while I just sat there. I didn't cry or even move. What the hell was I supposed to do? After more yelling my fiancé grabbed my hand and we went home. I spent that night crying and screaming while my fiancé held me. Fast forward to now. My mom has been calling and texting me nonstop apologizing saying she was just angry and she didn't mean any of it, but I genuinely don't think I could even look at her the same way. Me and my fiancé are packing for my next trip tomorrow and I plan on blocking my mom the entire time I'm away. I don't know what else I can do. Any advice will do. Your mom is a fucking monster. This is a woman who is incapable of unconditional love. She thinks because she bought you, you are a commodity that she can control. I would never speak with her again if I were you. Cut your mom off, she is hateful and thinks she can control your life. She isn't bringing anything but negativity to the table. There are things you still need healing from and she used them to hurt you. People that love you would never hurt you. Sorry about your situation and good luck. Some people are deeply frustrated with their lives, and once they have kids these are seen as proxies to do whatever they feel they should have done. It seems your mother never got to be a lawyer or doctor she wanted to be, and decided by herself that you'd be that in her place. Your plans weren't even an afterthought. Block her for a while, you need some time to heal from her abuse. Maybe therapy could help. When you're in a better place, reassess if you'd like to have a relationship with her at all. And your fiancé did great. I am so sorry you had to experience this. What your mother did, say is horrible. My suggestion is go LC or NC for a while, if not permanently. You need space. And I hope you have a long and successful career doing what makes you happy. She seems jealous that you use your looks to model, one of the only things you inherited, instead of all the resources she provided. She probably feels useless as a mother, jealous, insulted maybe? None of which is any of your fault. She needs help and you shouldn't have to deal with her insecurities as a parent. You don't deserve this type of treatment and have every right to cut her off. Continue to focus on yourself and do the work you love. Your fiancé seems like a great support system. I wish you nothing but the best. If I was in your shoes, I wouldn't forgive her either. I would go and see with her. No mother, actually no one has any right to say such a horrible thing to a person. Let her work on her problems. It's not like you are wasting your life doing nothing. Even if that's the case, that's not how a parent should react. I adopted 3 children with varying degrees of impairment. 2 are never going to be able to have a conventional job. But one works with animals for very little money but she enjoys it. She has struggles but is a good person. The 3rd is less impaired and works regularly. I have suggested some things to advance her situation but she is happy where she is. She is a very hard worker and is an honest and good person. I adopted them to help them to the best life for them. It is beyond imagination to be so angry, bitter, and evil. That may get covered up some to get you back, but the core of who she is won't be changing. I would go no contact or at least minimal and grey rocking. Your mother adopted you for her own glory. She's vile. Cut her out. I, 29F, recently learned my 34M husband has another family. My husband and I had a very fast courtship and engagement. We met and married within 11 months and have been married for 4 years in March. My husband has a job that requires him to travel a lot. Without giving too much information, he is a VP of sales for a company that produces something that's in every house and building in America, so he's constantly working and on the road about 50% of the time. I entered our marriage knowing this and have never had an issue. I learned about 7 months after our wedding that he had actually been engaged to someone else. Let's call her Amanda, at the time we met. He claimed he was worried about hurting her as they had been together since high school. However, what hurt me the most is that he did not call off their engagement until he proposed to me. We've worked through that issue thanks to therapy and we continued to still go to therapy. Early last week I discovered I was pregnant with our 3rd child. He was out of town, so I thought it would be fun to surprise him with the news at his hotel, so I planned on getting a cake with, "You're going to be a dad." Again, delivered to his hotel. I called the hotel asking how I could go about this and was told they didn't have him staying at that hotel. I assumed I had messed up where he was staying, but I know his company would only put him in that hotel group. I have, admittedly, overlooked some red flags and realized something was going on. I know he's dumb enough to keep all his passwords the same, and I know our passwords for Netflix etc., and logged into his Facebook and Instagram to snoop. While snooping, I found DMs with Amanda that were flirty and she had been tagging him in stories. I called him up and asked him if there was anything he wanted to tell me. He said absolutely not, and I said, "Are you sure, because I know you're not staying at X hotel, because I was trying to surprise you with something." After now being together, I can pick up on some of his lying tells, and when he tried to tell me he was somewhere else, I called him out on his tell and he said he would be home that night and we could talk. I assumed he was coming home to tell me that he and Amanda were seeing each other, but instead he told me that he had been having an affair with a woman we will call Sarah, and Sarah and him have 2 kids together. He was with her and has not been going on as many work trips since COVID started. The kicker is, he started seeing Sarah while still engaged to Amanda, and his kids with her are 6 and 1 who will be 4 a week before our 4-year anniversary. He and Sarah both claim that they haven't had sexual relations since their youngest was conceived. He was seeing both Sarah, Amanda, and I at once in the beginning of our relationship. I asked him about his DMS with Amanda and he said that they had reconnected at his 15-year school reunion, which I did not go to because I had just given birth 2 nights before, last year, and had been hanging out with old high school friends. I am absolutely devastated and confused. I gave birth to our first son January of 2020, our second son June of 2021, and like I said, I'm currently pregnant with our 3rd. The betrayal goes farther with the fact his mother has been helping him hide this secret from everyone. She has been the best grandmother to my boys and is very active in their life and helps me with cleaning our home and giving me time to do things away from the kids. She knew every time he was going to go see Sarah and their kids and never once told me. I'm coming to the realization that everything in my world revolves around him. I can't even begin to talk to my friends about this because all of my friends are his friends' wives. I feel like I am this big joke to his friends and family, and I'm not sure how to change that. I don't have a job because I quit it to be able to travel with him when we got engaged. I feel like I'm stuck and don't know how to get out. Has anyone left a marriage not knowing where to go or how to survive? Too long did not read. My husband has kids from a previous relationship I knew nothing about and I don't know where I fit anymore. File for divorce and child support ASAP. IDK if he is already paying other child support. First to file gets more money. Start looking for places, resources, etc. ASAP. Alimony won't last forever for a 4-year marriage. The man is a serial cheater and thinks it's fine just having multiple families and women in his life. If you aren't okay with that, you need out. Take yo kids and plan your escape because this guy and his weirdo mom are absolutely sick. I'm sorry that you've been so deceived. You must be heartbroken. You need to cut this off, I think. He's too far gone to ever come back from that. This isn't one drunk slip-up. This is full-blown cheating. It's time to pack your bags. Go to your mother's if you can. Find a place to rent. Also, you have proof of his infidelity, no? I would immediately speak with a lawyer and see what you can get from him. You deserve compensation after basing your life and family around a cheater. Best of luck. Please I hope this is a troll because if not, I'm so sorry that you would have to go through this. I hope you have people to support you. Hey, so I think the person you should really be taking this to is a divorce attorney first and a therapist second. It'll be much easier to move on when you see him being accountable and you're well compensated for this trauma. I'm stuck on the part where he went to his high school reunion 2 days after you gave birth. I think I saw an episode just like this on Bones. Wait until she finds out about the pregnant girlfriend. See a family lawyer. Get your ducks in a row. You're married to a conscienceless weirdo from a family of them. Not divorcing would be idiotic at this stage unless you actively enjoy his infidelity and lying making G-kids with other women, all 3 of which seem to be his main interests in life. Your lawyer should help you get the financial support you are owed. Then you can get your life back together and get a job. Let the dishonest psycho-fucker with 3 families pay for everything. Do not bend an inch for him. A judge will likely crucify him on court. Make sure you cut the sneaky grandmother out of your kids' lives by the way.